Ricky wins again and closes the gap on Paul, while the two help US take down the President's Cup, an event that the DGBT just might have killed, and even more with a major This Week in Disc Golf. Welcome all you disc-generates, I'm Swiss Cheese with the Disc Golf World, the YouTube channel that brings all the disc golf action in a fraction of the time. You're watching This Week in Disc Golf, where I cover all things disc golf from the past week. Guys, if you enjoy the content and you want it to continue, make sure to subscribe, engage, or contribute to the Patreon, as our content and tour is primarily funded by you, the fans. With a tour in Europe and a major underway, the season really takes off from here. Sandwiched between all that was the President's Cup, on and off Wednesday, just the day before the European Open ceremonies began, hidden behind a pro paywall for many not to see. The President's Cup becoming more of an intro event for the major instead of its very own standalone event might be one of the more foolish mistakes taken by those in charge. And yes, the event has been one-sided, with the US just taking down now its 12th victory in a row. However, easily has more tradition, prestige than a standalone multiple-day All-Star event at the beginning of the season, while allowing the best opportunity in the schedule to kick off a stacked back half with the largest events remaining to play, while still showcasing the best in the game from the US and Europe, while in Europe also, a market that disc golf is currently growing in. And now with the addition of the Tampere Disc Golf Center, nicknamed the Monster, also yet another opportunity to showcase the new track. Instead, those in charge chose a single-day European intro event stationed midweek for few to watch, and only made worse by it all being behind DGN Pro monthly paywall, choosing that instead of charging an additional fee for the coverage, which was the largest air from this major weekend, and makes about as much sense as getting drunk just before singing the national anthem at an all-star event. As for fans, and myself included, feels like an even larger money grab by those in charge at the DGN or DGBT, which has turned off many fans altogether, instead choosing to wait for DGBT's spotty at best post-highlight clips that provides less coverage than our Secret Service does, others choosing to follow along on PDGA Live, and for the smart ones, rather a chance to skip altogether to get some rounds in and rely on the media like us to get filled in, as the community, though still limited, has far more options than it has ever in the past, and not making this single-day event free to help promote the sport, the European Open, and grow the President's Cup to become large enough to be a standalone event worth charging for, instead choosing quick dollars rather than what's best for the game, in probably the worst way. No realistic fan finds air in the DGBT looking to capitalize on this event, while understanding the fact that they have paid for those rights and can do how they see fit with them. Yet having your subscribers jumping in and out of monthly subscriptions instead of a simple additional charge just feels grimy, even when the DGN did everything in their power to communicate to their subscribers how to watch the event, including emails and posts to make the transition as smooth as possible. For the consumer, still feels far more difficult with more hoops to jump through than a single charge. Though a simple one-time fee may not result in the largest revenue for the DGBT over time, as the DGBT hopes to keep the newly upgraded subscribers with their additional content. And as hilarious as that sounds to you and I, it's sincerely not meant to be a joke, rather what the DGBT will try to sell us. But what feels more likely is the DGBT's attempt to have its subscribers simply mistakenly forget to unsubscribe the following months. Doing so just might have sacrificed more viewership of the European Open for the revenue increase though. And if you don't want to believe that, you don't want to look at the viewership of the President's Cup. Add the European Open now has VIP pricing for select holes over at the Beast for the first time ever, tickets needed for the Monster course, and changes to 16, the European Open feels far different on property and off, which seems a far departure from its peak during that 2022 Eagle vs. Paul battle, as this course and property now develops into its lead up to the World Championship next year. Getting back to the disc golf action, the US was able to take down the President's Cup in large parts due to the veteran efforts of Paul McBeth and Ricky Wysocki. Two gave the US a large lead early. It would be far too wide to close during the second round match play. Ricky just coming off a victory at the Krakow Open that saw him nearly close the gap on Paul's top career earning totals, as that seems to be in reach for possible later this year or just maybe this upcoming major, as the two find themselves currently tied for fourth and only 2 strokes behind leaders Randon Lada and the 2-time major winner Chris Dickerson after day one's action on the Monster course. Randon has been touted by pros as being a talent who struggles to find his putt, while Chris is looking to improve on his last year's 8th place finish. which now that the monster course has now been seen, even through rainy coverage, should have everyone questioning how exactly did Virginia win this world's bid at all. I guess I'll have to wait to see in person, but after just the brief glimpses we've already seen through coverage, it might be too difficult to stand up against these two tracks. Thankfully, it didn't prevent UC Maresma from submitting again the following year, because these courses are too good not to have a world championship on.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
Andrew Miranda finds himself on lead card, one stroke behind the leaders at 6 under heading into day 2. Made more impressive by the fact that it's his first major ever. Yes, his first major and it being overseas. The baby Macbeth will need to handle his nerves over the remainder of the tournament if he wants to make history. But what just might be even more noteworthy is some of the names who struggled with the weather in the long, tightly wooded course, as some of the biggest names find themselves over par and currently below the cash line. Yes, the rain was horrendous, but 9 current players in the top 25 in DGPT points on the season shot over rounds after day 1. Names like Vinny, Yakub, Matty O, Eagle, Ezra Robinson, Hammes, Buckets, Babcock, and everyone's weekly favorite click-to-picks, Gossage and Adderhold, all needing to put together multiple days of high-level play now for a chance to reach the podium at all. In the FPO, similar to what was seen over the final 2 days of Krokol, has been all Kristin Tattar since her return from injury, scoring 9 under, 1040 rated round with only a single bogey while leading in nearly every statistical category. Currently finds herself 4 strokes ahead of Evelina Salonen with 2 days remaining at the Beast, where she absolutely crushed it last year. Missy Gannon got into the 1000 rated action with a 4 under round and currently in 3rd place. While Silva Saarinen continues her great play a week after her 2nd place finish at Krokol and currently 3 under for the final lead card spot. Weather might continue to be an issue over the entire event. However, structuring the tournament with back-to-back days at the lower scoring Tampere, only to have a sprint finish the final 2 days over at the Beast, will create a dramatic ending. Add the fact some of disc golf's biggest veteran names remain in contention at the top, while plenty of young talent remains close enough to close the gap over the remaining days, as the action should be tight over the rest of the event, with hopes some other players not named Tattar can make it interesting for the rest of the viewers watching the FPO. This week also kicked off the 2024 PDGA Junior Disc Golf Championship in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with some familiar last names in attendance, whether siblings of touring pros in Mon, Middling, and Sides, or the children of greats in the game in Brinster and Jenkins. The event has seen some of the highest rankings in nearly every division as the youth's best arms take over the action here at the States, while also some of the best ambassadors of the game in attendance with Zach Melton and Jennifer Allen, just to name a few. In the oldest division, Ryan Mon currently has a 7-stroke advantage over Patrick Yu, who's looking to improve from his 2nd place finish at last year's Junior Worlds, while Norway's Ida Emily Nisse looks to hold on to a 3-stroke lead. Ide has been cutting her teeth at some DGBT European events this year, but has the current USWDGC U18 winner Rebecca Don chasing her down. Now, let's get to some quick hitters. After a breakout performance, Anneli Tugas-Manashti drops out after day 1 at the European Open, citing fatigue. Drew Gibson is more than his ball golf content as he takes down what has to be the longest named event out there in the DGBT Q Series Grippy Q 42nd Kansas City Wide Open by DFX Disc event. That's until this weekend's 2024 PAC-X Disc Golf South Sound Classic presented by Dynamic Discs. That's more of a mouthful than most Wisconsin small town names. TDs get your funding where you can, but if they charge by the letter to engrave the plaque, shit might become a wash. Lisa Fakis was able to take down the FPO at the Kansas City Wide Open one, not that PAC-X, finishing 1 stroke ahead of Owen Scoggins, who struggled late again. Kayla Viska edges out buddy Tall Paul Oman in a playoff at the Silver Cup 24th Pro event. Zach Melton wins Meyer Lake Classic. Clemonade, Chris Clemens, and Hannah Wynn grab a concert and a photo shoot. Chandler Kramer got hacked, which is as common for touring pros in Europe as missing luggage. Chandler Fry celebrates a birthday, announces a sponsorship, and has a root canal / tooth extraction all this week. And listen, Parker Welk has had a roller coaster of a week also, that can only be compared to a Seinfeld episode. Gets his car and disc golf bag stolen, finds paperwork at the crime scene, contacts the name on the paperwork, only to hear that guy's Kia was also stolen. Both would end up recovering their cars, with Parker's disc golf bag being found in another guy's Kia, now only to turn around and find out he's got Lyme disease. That's a very long story put short, but make sure to go check out his GoFundMe page. And guys, that wraps up This Week in Disc Golf. If you've enjoyed and not subscribed, make sure to do so already, as it helps us continue to make content. Make sure to like, comment, and share, and if you want more, make sure to check out all our episodes.